G'day. This is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today from my locals community with your daily dose of business inspiration. Come on over and join me at askcharlieleetham.locals.com. You can join the community for free. You can become a supporter for $2 US per month. That allows you to join in the conversations. It allows you to add your comments. It allows you to add your own conversations. It will give you access to supporter-only content when that goes up. And of course, it helps me to keep creating content like this, like my podcasts, and like my tutorials. Let's get on with today's daily dose of business inspiration, though, and talk about building stronger teams through effective communication. Now, this is one that I'm going to come back to time and time again. Effective communication to me is the absolute key to having a strong team. You can have the right people in the right place. You can have the right people doing the right thing at the right time. And if your communication is balked, it's going to balk your process. It's going to balk your outcome. So let's talk about why it's important. So that's why it's important. That's why effective communication is important. What is effective communication? I mean, that's a bit of a buzzword, really. To me, that's the way that you communicate with your team in a way that your team understands you and you can understand your team. What works for one of your team members may not necessarily work for another team member, and that's something that you as an effective leader need to understand. Need to have some strategies in place for. Might not know that up front, though, and you've got to be prepared to work with it. You've got to be prepared to turn on a dime, if you like, if you want to use that term, when you work out something isn't working. So what are some of the ways that you can improve communication skills and foster, we've got to foster a culture of collaboration. So some of the things I like to do, and I'm going to look at myself. As a team member, I hate getting swathes of text. I hate getting walls of text. I don't process it particularly well. Because my mind tries to understand it all, and it tries to understand it all at once. And I've got to sit down and go through it, and it takes a long time. It also means that I know that I'm going to be missing key points, and I might not understand what the author of that communique is trying to get through. I don't understand what's important to them. So my preference when I'm getting communications from people is to get, hey, here's the problem. Sorry, here's a summary. Dot points. Here's what we recommend. Here's all the supporting evidence for it. Here's all the supporting information for it. That tells me what's important to the communicator by those drop points. These are the things that are important to me. These are the things that I think we need to be resolving. I like people to bring solutions to me. Here's ways I think we can solve them. Here's things that I think we can do to fix it. If it's a customer coming to me and they've given me those drop points, not necessarily give me the solution, but give me the things that they need to achieve out of a new process or out of a new tool. And then all that text can go at the end of it. It's still important because I might want to go through and pick the eye teeth out of it and find bits and pieces and say, okay, they said that's down here. Oh, look, this bit here actually impacts on that. And no, they wouldn't have understood that impact, but I do because that's my job. So I can look at it. So I prefer to have summaries and details later. I don't necessarily need the details up front. When I do need details is when someone's having a problem and they say it's just not working. So define to me what you mean by not working. Can you not log in? Is it not loading? Can you log in and then you can't get to a screen? What do you mean by not working? So be really, really specific. And that's when I need the specificity in something. Some of my team members, though, need a lot more information. They need me to spell it out. They need me to step them through a process. And that's fine. That's the way they learn. So the way for me to become an effective communicator is to understand how each of my team members respond and what they need and how they communicate. The other thing that I find works really, really well, and it's It's a challenge getting it in place. There are to me, there are at least two types of communication. There is the overarching, ongoing conversation that documents a situation, documents the problem, it documents solutions, it documents agreements, it documents the slow moving things that happen in a situation. They need to be captured for posterity. I'm going to call it posterity. I capture it because sometimes I like to go, well, not sometimes, often I'll say, oh, so and so had that problem. Let me search for this tag. Okay, there's the problem. How did we fix it? There's the solution right there. Once I get those solutions, I can then move them across into my knowledge base as well and start to document out a knowledge base so that when these sorts of problems start coming up again, I can point to the knowledge base and say, check that article. I think that's going to help you. So that's the slow moving overarching stuff that where you need to have historical documentation. You need to know who's agreed to do what. You don't need to know. Sometimes you need to know who's worked on something as well. So that if not just if it goes wrong, but if you need to go back to it, you can say to someone, hey, do you remember this? Why did you do it this way? Do you remember why you did it this way? Now, hopefully they've kept notes as well. Then you have the fast-paced back and forward communication, which is, okay, can you try this? Is that working? Look, could I get your IP address? Could you give me this? Could you try that? Look, we need to do an update here. We need to do, and it's that back and forwards communication. To me, that's two different platforms. And what I get is I get a ticket system, which gives me the overarching information, the documentation, the stuff that I need to capture in the long term for posterity. Then I have my chat programs where I can back and forwards with my team really quickly, maybe back and forwards with the customer as well. Sometimes you need to get your customer involved in that to get information from them, but you don't want to be shooting off emails every 5 seconds going, hey, can you tell me this? And they'll give you an answer. And, oh, can I? Sometimes you've just got to pick up the phone or get on a chat and have a chat to them and do that back and forwards. At the end of those conversations, though, you then need to take that information and drop it back into your overarching system. Say, this is what was discussed. You can put a transcript of the conversation on as an attachment if you like. I would recommend you do. Here were the responsibilities and here's how we're going to fix it, or here's what our next steps are. The other thing about improving communications and fostering a culture of collaboration is not going crook on someone, not getting angry, not blaming them because something goes wrong. One of the things I get often is, we tried to update the site and it failed. Now, it might be one of my staff, might be one of my team. Like, we were working on this and it just failed and we're really, really sorry. And they're really, really scared to come to me because the client's site is down and the client's going to get angry. And maybe the client will. That's okay. That's for me to deal with, not them. There you go. That's something that I do. I shelter my team members from the overall stuff that comes down. That's my job as a team leader. And what I say to them is, hey, thanks for telling me. If you hadn't told me, we wouldn't have known, and then I wouldn't have known until the customer told me. So thank you for telling me. Now, can you tell me what you did? I'm not going to dwell on the fact that it's failed and they maybe shouldn't have done something, but I do need to know what they've done. So, hey, walk me through what you did. Show me the steps that you took. Okay, that's great. Thank you. And I make sure I thank them. Make sure I say thank you. Make sure I encourage them to come forward and offer information and share information more readily. I want to set this up as a situation where they can come to me and feel that they are in a safe place to share when things have screwed up. They might have screwed up. That's okay. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. When we're done, I might go back and say, okay, so this failed because you did these things. If you go back to our SOP, you'll see that these things aren't supposed to be done. Maybe you miss the SOP. Maybe it's not clear in the SOP. And then I can say, well, maybe it's my writing. Maybe I need to fix my SOP up, standard operating procedure, SOP. Oh, that's not even in our processes and procedures. Well, let's put it in there. Now we know something else. And again, if we go back to a couple of episodes ago, I was talking about foster a curiosity to learn. There's a good way of fostering a curiosity to learn. So that's how I try to build better team communication, stronger teams through my communication. I want them to feel they're in a safe place. The other thing that I don't do, and the other thing that I do, is it's not just all about business. I'll ask them how their weekend went, how the family's doing, what's going on over there. What's the weather like? Hey, it's pouring down here. I haven't been able to get out. My feet keep getting wet. It's really bad. Or the sun's out and it's lovely. I might share an anecdote about what I did on the weekend. I might share some photos about a bushwalk I went on or a walk I went on. Something, just something that makes it feel, because we're working remotely, but makes it feel like they're more part of the team than just, have you done this job yet? It's really important to me that I do that. Okay, guys, you've had me talking a lot in this one. What do you think? How do you engender effective communication? How do you build your team through your communication methods? What works for you? What hasn't worked for you? What have I suggested that you're going, no, 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 girl, you've got no idea. That's just not going to work. Why not? Tell me. I'd love to learn. Again, I like to learn, and I learn as much from you as I hope you are learning from me. So please leave some comments below or come across to askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Join in the conversation there. And also please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell so that you find out when I drop more content. Please leave reviews if you can. It does help. And maybe share this content with someone who you think will benefit from it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.